Hey guys, so you're probably, I want to thank you for everyone that's being here. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. And also wanted to just let you guys know that this is the beginning stage of my putting together a full presentation. So if you guys weren't actually, some of you were and some of you weren't at the last event or the last presentation. Let me just move that out of the way there. And so you weren't able to see the amount of work that went into creating what is known as the referral standard operating procedure, and kind of what goes into creating an event. And so I just wanted to show you this right here. So I'll pull this back out. So these are all the documents that I had in order to create this simple standard operating procedure right here. And so this was a standard operating procedure that was created. It's only 60 pages long, so it's not too long. Just the size of a small book, and so what do we do in order to create presentations and boot camps and all these kind of things? And so then what I did is I actually created a presentation. Let me just find that over here, and then eventually this is what comes out. Is a presentation that looks really nice like this, that outlines everything you're going to be looking at. And what we're doing is we're selling that in and of itself as a product. And for people who work with us, you just get this as a part of the process. So it's kind of awesome. So this is the first stage that we're doing right now of putting together everything that you need to know about hiring a virtual assistant. Now, I kind of wanted to go through some ideas, first of all, and see what kind of presentation you guys would like to see. And first of all, I wanted to go through the 101 ways to use a virtual assistant. I thought that was kind of handy because what's the point of having a VA unless you know how to use them or what you have to do or how you can break out their tasks. Now, I think that there's a few people on the line here. I know a couple for sure. And I was wondering, you guys who feel like participating, are you currently using a virtual assistant? And are you thinking of hiring a virtual assistant? So I do want participation.
So this is Diane. Currently,
Hey.
I'm not using a virtual assistant,
yeah,
but would like to.
Okay.
Yeah, I've used one a couple of times, and would like to be able to also know how to find them.
Okay.
As well. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was doing a lot of the research, there's a ton of companies out there that, and thank you, and I want you guys to interact, please. It's very important for everyone that's going to be listening to this afterwards. So, when it comes to being able to find them, if you're going to be using a VA company, then what you got to be prepared is to pay significantly more than if you did the work yourself. It's like hiring a builder to build an entire house, or you become the builder and hire out each of the trades and save that 10%. So the idea is that you do the work yourself. Ideally, if you're not able to do the work yourself, then you have to outsource it to someone else. Now let's take a look at what our VAs can do for us. They can do our bookkeeping. So you need to pay your bills. You can scan, email, or fax the VA, or you can automatically bill pay. I do have, for one of our projects, we have actually for more than one, for a number of our projects, we do actually do virtual assistant bookkeeping, but we don't outsource that bookkeeping to people outside of Canada. We keep it inside of Canada. So that's where so for most of us, we're not going to be using it for bookkeeping, but I do actually have many times used bookkeepers who are virtual assistants, and they specifically help you with all your transactions. There's this one lady, we have Jenna, she's local in the interior. What we do is after every bill payment and after every payment we make, we send her an email, and she does everything on QuickBooks for us. And then she sends us an update on a monthly basis on what the outstanding amounts are and how much money we've made and who we have to pay. And it's actually great. And we only pay $150 a month for that. and we get about 4 hours of work, which is exactly how much hours we need. So you can really, if you're needing bookkeeping, don't think bookkeeping is going to cost you thousands. Think that bookkeeping should cost you no more than $100. And then all of a sudden, it becomes affordable for you to go out and get 1 or 2 more clients in order to make up that 1 or 2 hours of time or 4 hours of time you're going to be doing your own bookkeeping. So, but just as an idea. Now, if you guys want us to focus on one specific one, then we can stop on that. So this is where I would really recommend hiring a virtual assistant, is for database management and data processing. So your virtual assistant, you have to train your virtual assistant. There is no way around that. There is no easy way to training, but there is an easy way to asking questions and hiring a virtual assistant. You don't, so that's where you take in resumes, and it's really important, first of all, before you start posting where you want to be hiring for your VA, to understand what you need done. And that was one of the most difficult aspects for me in my early days when I started using a VA. Another thing is that a VA typically wants to have a contract. A virtual assistant wants to have a contract. I have never had a contract with a virtual assistant. Oh, I think someone's trying to come into our call. Pause it. Hi, Odin here. Oh.
Hi, Odin. I can't connect on the Zoom. It doesn't just...
Here you are. I let you in.
Okay. Now
You're
I'm
here.
connected again.
Yeah, I was just getting to the good stuff. Talk to you in a second. Bye. So I'm going to just mute you. And one of the questions that I had, actually, Gurjeet, was, have you ever used a virtual assistant in the past? Hi, Gurjeet.
Yes, hi, Odin.
Hi, have you ever used a virtual assistant in the past?
Maybe once a long time ago, but that was just to do some website stuff.
Yeah, good. Jason, on Friday, you and I need to talk about getting Gurjeet's WordPress website functional, up and running. And so she wants you and I to do an assessment on that. And so just remind me on Friday when we talk, okay?
Yeah, for sure. And I can remind. Yeah, and and Gurji, if you can connect on her own, I can make sure.
No, she wants to do it through me, Jason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure thing then, but I just need to get certain information from you so I can.
Yeah. I have everything. I have everything. We'll do it together, and then what we'll do is, she knows it's going to cost money. We'll see what the quote is, if it even needs anything. But I'll run everything down. So while she's here, while I remember, it's on my to-do list. Now I can check it off. So I'm going to unpause and mute you guys now. Okay. Oh my goodness. It's great. I love it. Well, thank you for the new attendees that have just joined us. So what we're talking about is we're talking about the first step in understanding how to hire a virtual assistant is knowing exactly what you want your virtual assistant to be doing. And so we skipped the bookkeeping, and I shared an example of how we've used only local Canadians for bookkeepers. But this is what you can outsource internationally right here, which is database management and data processing. So, so you can fax, scan, or email virtual assistants copies of business cards that you've gathered during the course of the month. Virtual assistants enter that information into your contact database using email merge to produce a follow-up letter and either scan the signature, use signature fonts to sign the names or emails and so on. So you email a prospect list to your VA, who enters them into your contact databases using personalized mail merge to send introduction letters. Virtual assistant monitors marketing follow-up programs. Now, I do need to let you know that there is a significant price difference between hiring a virtual assistant locally and hiring a virtual assistant overseas. When you hire a virtual assistant locally, you are to pay minimum wage locally. Chances are the individuals that you are hiring locally are also very well trained, and if they're not well trained, you get what you pay for. But in some cases, you get much more if you pay for me. So, I laugh at myself. Anyway, moving forward, if you're paying $15 an hour, then that's the minimum wage here in Canada, depending on your province. So if you're doing that in British Columbia, you can actually hire people from Manitoba, and their minimum wage, I believe, is about $10. So it's about $5 less. You're totally allowed to do that. If you want to go with good English-speaking individuals, I would say that there's good English-speaking individuals in every country around the world. And so now it's just about finding that qualified individual. There are some of our clients that I've spoke to about this, because I've been teaching people one-on-one about this for many years. What we have is we recommend you go to, I think, Utah. No, not Utah. Salt Lake City. I think that is Utah, right? Salt Lake City. And because right there, they still have a minimum wage of $7, maybe a little bit less than $7. So it's a significant savings on your pocket and your budget. You have to train someone anyway. I personally opted not to go to the United States. I chose to actually go with the Philippines. And so what I did is, and it was just, I decided that the Philippines had a good command of English, I thought. I thought that, I also thought that for the work that I wanted them to do, was very reasonable to pay about $1.25 to $2.50. And that was in the beginning. Now I've trained my person for many, many years, and I pay $5 per hour because they're trained, so they're worth it. And it took me quite some time to train these individuals. The early days, what I had them do is exactly the work I'm showing you here. So I wouldn't, it's basically what they would do is they would go and search a certain topic. And then what they would do is they would do all the research that I needed, and then they would put it together in research documents. And then what typically we would look for 10 different resources. And I would have my virtual assistant do all of this. So remember, data management and data processing. So here what we're talking about is we're talking about emails, we're talking about business cards, we're talking about lists that you want to generate. Let's say, for instance, you wanted to have a list of every single, maternity clothing store in your certain area of business. Well, the virtual assistant would do all the research for you, which would probably take you hours, and go out and do that. And you can have that done for probably, let's say, a nice little list of initial research. If you're paying, let's say, $2.50, which I think is reasonable, if you're hiring your own virtual assistant, if that price is still available. Pretty sure that some people will take you on at that. And so they'll do that kind of work for you. But you can take your virtual assistant to be doing presentations for you. And what they do is they give you the foundation of the presentation, and then you make it better. And let's show you a little bit more of what a virtual assistant is able to do. So you can set up a virtual assistant with their own email through your server. If you're using GoDaddy or something like that, you can set up their own email, which we have done. And then they can send out emails on your behalf, which makes your life so much easier. And it's just you customize one simple letter. I think there was someone that's on here today where they used my virtual assistant, and you did a LinkedIn campaign that brought you money, and it's continuing to bring you money. And now what you're doing is you're positioning the business in such a way to make sure you're getting maximum conversions. Well, you know something, your virtual assistant can help you with that process as well. There's really only the limit of your imagination and the ability of space and time for your success in your business. If business depends upon you being there, you can outsource all the stuff that is associated with getting a person to the event. And then you're able to show up. So let's look a little bit more. I think you guys are understanding this as we go. So electronic newsletters and e-zines. So if you want to publish a quarterly newsletter or provide content provide the content to your VA, and the VA helps you with articles. And it's very true. You can negotiate a per hour for articles, or what you could do is you can negotiate a per article. I mean, it really is up to you. You can pay $5 to get an article written for your business. That's awesome. $5. You're only limited by, first of all, your ability to train someone. Secondly, your time and your available money. But I know for certain that each of us here is making a little bit more than $15 per hour. Sometimes I question it, but yes, it's true. We all make more than $15 per hour. Let's face it. And that we can take a portion of that as though we would give it to charity, and the charity is us. And we're going to help our own businesses create systems to help us succeed. That's exactly how come we're doing a virtual assistant. And then it becomes so much easier because you train your virtual assistant and we work with them together. So the VA manages your email database, adding subscriptions, deleting those you want to unsubscribe, and posting announcements to lists. And guess what? You can set up most of the autoresponder companies like Aweber, which I'm an affiliate. So ask me if you want to have an Aweber account, because I can get ongoing monthly revenue from that. I signed up for it. So ask me when you want to become a member of that. I have it every single month. We spend money on it. And you can allow and give the password to your virtual assistant. And you can set up an account just for them. You can also have them set up their own free account using MailChimp. And you can have them run 2,000 members on that and have them just manage 2,000 individuals at first. Really, you're creating jobs for an individual. You're creating a job for an individual that doesn't know how to do the business themselves, and you're just telling them what to do for you. And ultimately, you end up making the sale, because the person on the other side of the phone, unless they're expert salespeople, and they probably wouldn't be working for $1.25 if they were, then they're just going to do exactly what you ask, because they want to be paid more and they want a good reputation and they want more business. And a lot of you I've recommended to our virtual assistant. Now, our virtual assistant is way overworked and overloaded. We're literally working months in advance at this point. So this is the perfect time to have you guys start working with our virtual assistant. And the ideal situation is we hire a virtual assistant through my virtual assistant so that we can all work together. And that will make your lives a lot easier, because we know how to manage this stuff. So you want to increase the number of subscribers to your newsletter. I mean, I think you're getting the idea. You can use a virtual assistant for event planning. So if you'd like to run a teleseminar or a webinar, a VA sets up the seminar. Now, you can actually, a virtual assistant can also be anyone that is a strategic alliance, because you can have strategic alliances and joint venture partners do exactly that. And I have a number of people that use me in that way, where they say, hey, you have a big list. I want to make money. You want to make money with me? I say, is it relevant? And they tell me what they're doing. And we have an agreement beforehand. And then what we do is we go out and I press the buttons and we do business together. And you can hire a virtual assistant to do all of that for you. One of my coaches has no affiliates, has no affiliate agreements, has no referral fees, none of that stuff. Doesn't do any of it, because the prices are so affordable that it'd be ridiculous. So I mean, that does not exist for them. But they use a virtual assistant for following up with me. They use the virtual assistant for event planning. They use it for all of the stuff that we're seeing right here, all of these awesome ideas. So you need a venue for your next conference, seminar, or event. The VA will research and contact and determine availability, size, and specifics. VA obtains written quotes and compiles a comparison and reports the findings to you. And you can see, like, this report really outlines absolutely everything. So I just like you guys to let me know by saying yes out loud if you'd like to have a copy of this awesome document. I need to be able to hear you.
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. So the other two don't want it? Other 3, 4? Come on, let's have some more yeses. It tells me if you're paying attention.
Yes. I just unmuted myself.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And anyone else would like a yes? I'm forcing you to say yes. Are you paying attention? Unmute yourself.
I'm here, Odin. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So you think this is good so far?
Yep.
Are you enjoying the presentation, all of you?
So I have a question for you.
Oh, I'd love a question.
So how do we expand your network of virtual assistants so we can get more done in less time?
Well, what we all need to do is we all need to determine how much we can spend per month. Already our company's spending probably around between $200 and $300 a month on virtual assistants.
Okay.
Which is not a lot of money if you think about it, right? It's not a lot of money. So in order to do that, what we need to do is we need to pay them better than their current jobs, because each of our virtual assistants, they all have jobs too.
Okay.
Which is a challenge. So that means that they're basically independents, and so that means that you're at the mercy of the individuals around you. What I meant is that that you're at the mercy of their time and their schedule, and their work that they're able to do. The best thing that we're able to do to leverage our network, because Jane wants to actually put together a full virtual assistant program in the sense that she wants to manage more virtual assistants. What she's finding, though, is most people need to have an ongoing wage. And if we took a look at the contract over here that we were looking at, see, I like an ongoing wage just wasn't necessarily something that I was interested in. But they're looking for about 20,000 pesos per month. And if I think 20,000 pesos per month is probably between $500 and $600 a month. That one virtual assistant is able to give us 40 hours a week times 4 months. So if you think about it, we become a little bit more, and we're already using the virtual assistant, right? So if you think $600, is that, did I say $500, whatever it is, $500, $600, let's say, divided by, I guess 40 hours. So actually I know what I want to do, 40 times 4. So 160 hours a month. It's pretty decent. That's a lot of hours. I don't even use close to that right now. Not even close. So the best thing for you guys to do is to determine what is your budget for a virtual assistant. If it's $100, then keep it at $100. What my goal is to first of all get Jane working for us full time. The challenge is that those people that are over there, they're actually getting paid decent wages. This is just extra cash for them. And that's the issue when you're going out and hiring subcontractors like this. So you have to be, what they're looking for is they're looking for a client base, or they're looking for that one client that will pay them 100% so they can get ahead financially. The wages in the Philippines are not very good. If you're in the tech industry though, which these guys all are that I work with, they're getting paid $15 an hour. For people that here would get paid for $60 an hour and work at TELUS. So they're getting paid good. And what we need to do is we need to wrestle just a virtual assistant away. So the guys that are getting paid good, those are all the web developers and stuff like that. They can command a little bit more cash.
Now, just a quick question is, how much was it you were saying that the VAs would be wanting to get paid per month? Yeah, through what Jane's been researching.
I think. Well, I'd say about $500 to $600 a month is the minimum that they need.
Like you mentioned, a price in pesos, like Philippine pesos.
20,000 pesos. Yes.
Yeah, because let's have a currency converter up.
Oh, what is it exactly?
It's showing up at 493. So
yeah, $500.
Yeah.
But remember, that was like when I first met her back in 2012, 2013. And, inflation happens, and let's face it, local wages go up. So I'm paying her $5 an hour now. So that one was, I think, for $2.50 an hour. Right? So $500 and $600. I think that your best bet, guys, is to put up some ads on Craigslist and determine which country you want to work in. I tried to give my cousin, my nephew in Eastern Europe, $5 an hour to work with me and do digital stuff. They refused because it was too much money. Not joking with you, because minimum wage there is like $3.50 an hour. So you can pick anywhere in the world. Like we live in a pretty cool place that affords us the ability to go and be contributors to societies and cultures that really truly need the money. So if you are, I mean, I've used people in India. I've used people in India a number of times. In fact, I've had great experiences with people in India. I remember this one time where I did a website, and I liked it, but the website manager came to me and said that website was so poorly done that they gave me a full refund and redid the website still. They felt so embarrassed. I was like, wow, sure. That was a number of years ago, and that was when I was working with someone from India. And actually recently I've had a really great experience with, it cost me double because I went through a virtual assistant company that specializes in putting together virtual assistants. Now that exists, but I had to pay double. So instead of paying $100 as I usually would pay for using my guys and waiting for a whole bunch of weeks, I decided to pay $300. I paid more than double. And what I did is I had it done turnaround within 48 hours. And that was a one page that I made into mobile friendly, which is the sign up registration page for the boot camps and the focus groups. And that's basically, you know, I had a great experience, but that was used with a broker, and the broker makes money in between. I don't do that with you guys. You have your monthly fees, and then what I do is I help you. And so I think that maybe the best solution in all of this would be for you guys to try to hire your own virtual assistant. Each of you, in whatever country. I admire the fact that you want to go through Jane, and I think you should. All of you should use Jane and have her as a backup, 100%. I use Jane as well. But I think it would be wise for each of us to extend our virtual assistant reach and to be of assistance of each other. So there's a few things we can do. We can pay for our own virtual assistant, or we can pool our money. It's up to you, whatever you choose to do. But ultimately, I always recommend having your own business fate in your own hands. So I'm always an advocate for, yeah, let's do some stuff together. And yeah, I think that it would be wise if you got your own as well. So, I mean, you know, you can have a virtual assistant do your event planning. I might not want event planning for my virtual assistant. Maybe you want your VA to do presentations for you. You know, my virtual assistant helped me create all of this. I'll show you. And I'm very happy with it all. So all of these, I'm trying to move it, all of these awesome presentations right here. Each of the sections were done, and I said, can you please develop a presentation based upon this? And then what I do is I use this as a template and see, is it what I really want, and so on. So guys, there's no ending to the material. This is ongoing, right? I mean, you know, she did all of this. Well, actually not all of it. I hired 6 virtual assistants, and I gave them each portion so that not everyone would have all of it. That's just a strategy I learned from days back when listening to people. So they can do all of your internet marketing and all your social media for you, every bit of it. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, not sure how to use them. But you know, if you're not sure how to use them, no big deal. They know how to use it. Get started at least. Again, $1.50 to $2.50 per hour. So it becomes a super affordable if you think about it. And I really suggest you do. And my virtual assistant doesn't necessarily do internet marketing or social media. Mine does this, and graphic design and websites. And so and because I have to wait for so long, and there's such a backlog of jobs that have to be done, I use Jason now. It's just actually very economical. And he's local. He knows the laws. He makes it affordable for the people that I work with, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. And I'm looking for a turnaround time. And he gave a proposal the other day, and he gave a turnaround time of, I think it was within a week. Right now, we're waiting for that same website for about 3 weeks. But remember, we're writing all the copy. It could be up to 3 months because we're writing all the materials, we're writing everything that goes along with it, and that takes time and effort. But you can have a virtual assistant write that for you too. But that's a different kind of virtual assistant. That's not a social media virtual assistant. So what I'd really recommend you do is you hire a virtual assistant for what your needs are at the time, and you hire job by job, and you develop a relationship. That's what I did. I did exactly that. I put an ad out in Manila in the Philippines saying exactly what it is that I wanted, help in researching and putting together standard operating procedures and helping me with PowerPoint presentations and so on. It was very simple. And then I gave all the instructions, and I knew I had to train this individual. And that's the part that takes a bit of time. So either you're working with someone who will train that individual for you, or you put a system together that trains that individual, or you start realizing that right now, whatever you're doing, you can record. You can put it online, and you can let those people look at the recordings later on, and the training is done. You've done your work. I think that's a great way of training too. So remember, everything that you're doing can be that opportunity for training. Start thinking of that, of creating sales materials. Now you can also do marketing support. So it can help you implement your marketing plan, submit ads by deadlines, track expiration dates, coordinate payments, and handle correspondence with advertising vendors. Continuously update advertising report and or advertising budget report for your review. Pretty awesome. You'd hire someone specifically for that. If you have one person that's able to do all of that, kudos to you. Mine does not. I want to add to it. And so maybe that's where, Dr. D, that's where your suggestion comes in, expanding the VA network and ultimately maximizing it for all the people that we will work with, every one of the people we work with.
Well, and if I can just add to that, I mean, if we can expand the network and have people who are skilled in each of the different areas, then, and if we can pool the money, then we maybe can get to the jobs done faster, so we can implement faster. Because my problem is I haven't got the time to do everything that I need to be doing right now because I've got other projects and priorities.
And it's going to be the same amount of time for you to educate a virtual assistant, and it's going to cost you less because you're going to gain your time back. That's
what I need right now. I need to trade my time for services that I can get more stuff done.
Yeah, so you need to figure out which virtual assistant you want to be working with. Are you working with, because all of these are categories, database management? Are you working with, you're not doing magazine, you're doing event planning?
I'm doing event planning, social media posts, and I'd like to get a blog going is what I would like to do.
Articles.
As well. Articles. Yeah.
So Jane you could use for article writing. But again, Jane's bogged down. And so I really, as much as I like her, what I'll do is I'll go talk to her and let her know what we're all doing here today and give her the first opportunity to help us out and get paid for that, because that's a valuable skill for her to train, because she's trained in all of the work that I do, guys.
I think there's a certain advantage to if from a leverage perspective.
Yeah, there is 100%. You're right on that.
If she already knows how to do the stuff, then we could teach her how to train a team. So then she could actually be running her own company, which she could then quit her job and then just manage virtual assistants.
Correct.
That would be an option.
And our businesses.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I love how you're thinking. Yes.
Yeah. And I think, I can see a huge advantage to that, because really the best person to source virtual assistants is a person who's in the area that or hiring them from,
Yes.
because she has a huge advantage at being able to find the talent and assess the talent.
But I would never presume that anyone listening here today would have to use the same foundation that I've built. If you want to use that one, that is your choice, and I'm up for it. I've already made introductions all the way around. The challenge is follow up and follow through. And so it's not necessarily a bad thing to start a new relationship and to see where that relationship goes, to test and measure different relationships. That's okay too. I'm for both worlds. I'm for getting the job done the quickest. I agree with Diane, and I also, or Dr. D, and I agree with you as well, Jason. So, but I do want to give everyone the freedom to choose if they want to use our foundation, Jason. But I agree.
Yeah.
Leveraging the people on the ground that from the pool that we're using makes sense. And we can just have them put up ads and hire people instead of us doing it. And I'll talk to Jane about that. Again, I mean, I think it's a wise decision. But for anyone that is not connected with our network, just listening to this happenstance, I think that just getting onto Craigslist in the area and putting up an ad of exactly what you're looking for will help you 100%.
Yeah, now that's another question, is how do you get an ad, say for us here in Vancouver or wherever you are, how do you get an ad onto Craigslist in a specific city that's far away from where you're actually located at? Because Craigslist by default will automatically force your ads to only be local to your actual physical location.
No, it won't. Let me show you.
Like if you're, let's say you have a Craigslist account, by default behavior I've always found in my own experience using it,
Just excuse my spelling, of course.
Force it to advertise only in Vancouver.
No,
I think you can have Craigslist in other countries and cities also. Like
yes.
I know for India, there is a Craigslist for mobile.
Yes, but you can also go to Google Philippines. So you can actually go to the Google Philippines, PH, I think it is. Where is it? Okay, googleplus.com. There it is. So now I'm in Google Philippines. Now I go to Craigslist. Every city, every country. Oh, there we go. All right, you're right there on that one, Jason. It went right to Vancouver.
Yeah,
but also what you can do is you can go to Craigslist worldwide, you can go to Asia, and you can go to Philippines right here, just like Gurjeet just said. So now I'm in Craigslist Philippines, Manila. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go to jobs. And then what you're going to do is you're going to do post right here, just like that. So I was doing some research for a client in other countries, Australia, England, and you're going to get not very far if you use the Google Canada. So you have to actually go to the Google of that country and do the research there, because all of their news channels come up. It's actually quite awesome.
That's actually another interesting challenge that I have, is every time I try to go to any Google other than Google Canada, it'll automatically redirect me back to Google Canada, so that I literally can't access any other version of Google other than Google Canada.
Well, that's odd. Unless Google updated that, I've never had that issue before. But regardless, there's a job offer we can post right here. And so you're going to put in here what your job offer is. And this is where you have to be very specific. Is it writing and editing? Because that's possible. Web and design, film, TV. Is it transportation? No. Technical support, systems and networking. Is it security, sales? So you have legal and paralegal, right? Government, general labor, education and teaching. What is it? Admin and office work. So you determine that for wherever in Craigslist. And because I used Craigslist, you worked for me. And then what you're going to do is you're going to determine from what we're looking at here, what is it you really want them to do? And you have to think of what's most important. The most important for each of you here is to build your database. Build your database. Let me tell you a secret about the Philippines. Facebook there has paid for Facebook to be absolutely free, and there's no wireless charges in the Philippines for Facebook. That means they can use it unlimitedly. So everything is done on Facebook. Guess what? CBC News reported on that. Watch the news. It's a great resource for marketing. But I watch the news, so you probably don't have to. Just have to tell, hey, what happened today? Wasn't in the news. Probably tell you. It's a good recap. But getting back to this, your database is super important. And if you're able to have someone from the Philippines work on your social media for you for even $50 a month, you would be further ahead. Come on, $50 is 5 hours, not even, it's like 2 hours of time, maybe half an hour of time for someone here.
Oh, by the way, I just found a workaround for the issue with Google redirecting me always back to Canadian site.
Nice.
Just use Yahoo. Because I just tried going to yahoo.mx.
Yeah.
And it directed me over to...
You know what? I haven't heard the Yahoo name for so long. Thanks for reminding me that there's another browser.
Yeah, that's actually a search engine. But yeah, so it actually directed me to espanol.yahoo.com.
Cool. That's awesome. That's totally awesome. So let's get back to it. So we went to event planning, social media. I'm thinking that what the first thing we do is maybe what we could all do is hire someone to help us all with our social media. That'd be worthwhile. We do social media Mondays. So how about now what we do is we make social media Mondays all about training our virtual assistants to do our ads for us. That's fun.
Yeah, because that's one of the biggest challenges I have with social media is finding the time to figure out what to post.
Yeah, let's make social media all about getting us a virtual assistant, paying that virtual assistant to help us with all the stuff, like helping us all with Facebook and giving them all Facebook access and letting them know what we want them to do and so on and so forth. Let's do it. Let's make it like a true mastermind and grow our businesses from it. So we'll spend a little bit of money on it, whatever. I want it. Jason, you want it.
Yeah, and if we follow the Diane's idea of pool our resources, then we could get like 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever it takes virtual assistants to put social media posts onto, say, Facebook, Twitter.
But let's think of it also this way. The more people we get online on Mondays, the more we're going to get for our dollars.
Yeah.
Think of that. Everyone, let's think if we all put in, I know, $50 a month. I'm in for that, 100%. $50 a month, and times, I think, there's 8 people now. That's $400 right there. That's 160 hours of social media time for all of us. Now, just imagine the kind of work that individual could do when there's a capacity for $150. That's $5,000. What can we all do with that? What can we do with $5,000 worth of advertising budget or marketing budget? That's all. That's now what we do is we start paying for advertising and testing and measuring. It's pretty cool. You potentially make everyone that's involved successful. It's interesting. Yeah, pooling resources is a possibility. And Mondays sound like they're going to become a little more fun. But I want you guys to vote on that. I'm not going to. I want you guys to let me know what you want to do too. If you say, yeah, Odin, VA for social media Mondays, we're going to train our VAs to do social media for us, then awesome. We'll figure it out. Marketing support, figuring that out. Mails and email services. So you can have a virtual assistant just set up an email for you and just do emails. You can have a virtual assistant just make phone calls for you also as telemarketers. There are individuals that are just solely telemarketers. But you have to be prepared that if you're getting a telemarketer to do a sales job or to try to book appointments for you, especially if they're calling into Canada, wow, you just better be prepared that to spend a good 20 hours educating and just burning leads because you're going to have to train that individual. But once that person is trained, then they become a very valuable asset for you. So you can do it for email services. You can do it for human what Diane and Jason just recommended is, hey, why don't we use our VA to hire us more VAs? So that's exactly what I'll do. Makes sense to me to do that. And next, what we have is, and so there's, again, looking to hire an employee. I'll be sending this to you guys. And then what I'd like for you to do is tell me exactly what you're looking for your business after I sent it to you. Purchasing and supply procurement, real estate assistance. This is a big one in the real estate industry. I know a number of associates that use virtual assistants internationally, and actually I'm a part of a number of real estate virtual assistant Facebook groups. My thoughts weren't coming out that clean there. I had to struggle for that one. They can do research for you. Then we can have secretarial and telephone services I mentioned earlier and just above. Transcription, they'll do that for you. And here's something wonderful. Our transcription services are paid per hour, whereas other transcription services are paid per word. It is far, I think it was Dr. D that mentioned that one of her associates pays over $100 for the transcription, whereas what we pay is like 10 or 15 bucks. So which would you rather have? I mean, that's a significant, that's what, 100% savings. Can't go wrong with our virtual assistant. You just need to have the patience to do it and add it as a part of your to-do list, a part of your daily management routine. Website development and maintenance, and I'm really doing my best to get Jason to take a look at our graphic designer who designed the Spark Plug public relations logo, which is very, very nice. And we just said, hey, develop a logo for us, and they came up with that idea. It's just one idea, and the cost was very, very affordable. It was 75 bucks. Might be going up now, who knows, because everything always goes up. But yeah, 75 bucks is what he paid, and that's an awesome price. And he got banners for Facebook, and he got letterhead and business cards. They can do word processing and then writing, editing, and proofreading as well. And so you spend a little bit more for this, and you spend a little bit more for, I mean, you have to remember that you're going to most likely spend a bit more on website design and development, because that's a little bit more of an expertise, depending on which country you're going to. So I know that you can get very affordable websites everywhere in the world. If you know exactly, if you understand what you're looking for and have built it all out and all the materials are ready, then life becomes a lot easier. Most people don't think that way, though, and a web designer pretty much ends up doing absolutely everything, and that's where the price comes in, because you don't know how to write copy, you don't know how to do this, you don't know how to do that. You can have spend a little bit more. I mean, transcription per hour, I mentioned that already. Secretarial and telephone services. I would say you wanted to spend a little bit more for that. About $5 to $7 an hour is a reasonable rate for telephone services. If you can get it for less, kudos to you. And we can work with whatever budget. Just what we need to do is just dictate what it is that we're looking for, and most likely we'll find it. But remember, also, you get what you pay for. So we don't want to be. We want to look at it as we're truly helping worldwide individuals. Project management, you're going to pay a little bit more for that. That's how come we pay Jane a little bit more, because she actually does that, and she does follow up, and she does take interest, and she does all of that. Recently, she did some website design. There was some edits and stuff that had to be done. Client goes through me. I talk to Jane. Jane takes care of it. And so Jane and I just work together. It worked very, very nice. Even though Jane and the client know each other, client just doesn't want to work with Jane. I don't know, for whatever reason. So I am the mediator. And so you want to be that as well for yourself. It's very important to have that relationship, I think. And so please do reach out and keep that relationship with her going. Email services, that could be a decent hourly rate, $2.50. Marketing support, starting $2.50 to $5. Internet marketing, social media. Again, there's individuals locally here that charge as little as $250 to $300 a month for that kind of ongoing service for social media and internet marketing. And I mean, they do a good job too, and those are locals. So when you're looking for social media and internet, just make sure that the individuals have a bit of experience in what you're asking, because you might have to train them from scratch. And if you do that, just be prepared that you pay for that. You pay for that training. And I think we're pretty much done with that aspect. Let's see here. We have the standard operating procedure. So we talk about, this is all I was able to accomplish before our call. What we have is we have planning. So the first step is determine what you need help with. There are some service providers who need direction, clarity over the next few items. And then here, a VA. So what is the task? They can do pretty much anything. I personally say, specifically women, my experience over the last years is they're honest and reliable coworkers. Absolutely true. They are. And they really care. And I try to get them away from calling me sir. that took a few years, actually, because they're very polite, and I enjoy that. It's nice. But I wanted to be just treated like a normal human being, right? I've also actually given Christmas gifts and gifts in general. If there's a typhoon or a hurricane that happens, that I do send money occasionally, just because you develop a relationship, and it's a nice thing to do. I also give bonuses because I believe that they're still not being paid enough, even though we have an agreed rate. I do pay bonuses if the work is done quickly and on time. And then I go to the local network and ask them to post a resume. So essentially you're going to say, I'm looking for bookkeeping, or I'm looking for data management, or whatever it is. I'm going to send this to you as soon as we're done for today. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to go and you're going to do exactly that. And then what we'll do is, each of you know Jane as well. I'll talk to Jane, and I'll do a group call with all of us, a group talk, saying what we spoke about, and see where she's at with that. And it's going to be a test and measure, something interesting to do. I know I only have 3 more minutes. I'll do my best to wrap up. Do you have any questions for the last 3 minutes, maybe? Comments?
I actually think that would be a great working plan to move forward. I think there's lots of ideas that you've shared, just thinking about what do I want from a virtual assistant perspective.
Yes.
And I think if I sit down and think about what I want, then I can take all the ideas that I have bubbling in my head and actually get something done with them.
Yeah, I think so. So this document's going to help you, is what you're saying.
Yep.
Perfect. Great.
And there are some websites also, Odin, like Fiverr and others, I don't know, I've forgotten the names, that you can just go there and post a job. And
there's many of those websites, and they're actually quite affordable. Remember this, though, that when you're using those websites, the person who is the foundation, like the platform, they're making a cut of anywhere between 10 and 30%, as much as maybe even 50% of what that person makes. So as much as I'm saying, yes, use them, remember earlier when I said, be wary and wise of the middleman. Go direct if you can. But if you want to go to Fiverr, and by the way, Fiverr is awesome. I recommend it. I've used it myself. I know many people use it successfully. It's great. I 2 thumbs up. Fiverr, right on. So, I mean, use that. There's many other services, like there's copywriting services out there. There's many other platforms. You just have to find them, know how to interact with them, become a member with them as well. And the next best to doing that is to signing up for those and taking a look at that and learning a brand new system. Is use a system you're already familiar with. Find out what it is, the work that you need to do, because you have to do that already to use Fiverr. Then find out exactly when you expect that work to be done, and so on. Next, determine how you're going to make payment. PayPal is the best way to make payment. I always convert it. I always tell the people I work with, I'm paying you in Canadian dollars. Is that okay? I don't want to convert to American, and I will convert it from Canadian into their dollars. And I need to make sure that they take PayPal payment. If they don't take PayPal payment, I won't work with them. Also, I want to make sure that they're going to get on Skype. You have to Skype me. I want to Skype. I want to see, and I want to make sure that you're also on Facebook or social media, or if you can use Zoom. I want to make sure that there's that kind of interaction, that I can have instant access to you. I use Skype just because it's easy. Recently, I've been using just Facebook as well. That works very, very nicely also. Jason, you're going to mention something?
No.
Okay. So here's the SOP. I think we're just right on time right now. I think what I'll do is I'll send this to everyone. I thought this was pretty nice. And I'll leave the SOP for another day and say thanks everyone for being here. Sincerely appreciate it. And I'm going to stop the recording and then just let everyone ask their questions. Maybe I can do that now. While you guys, I'll pause the recording. And if any good questions come up, we'll unpause it. Otherwise, we'll see you at the next presentation. Thanks.